guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Dr. Carmen Bryant, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Sorry you guys, I couldn't be there yesterday. I had a busy work schedule, but I am back and I'm excited to be here with you guys. And so those of you that are new to my channel, thank you so much for joining me and finding something relevant that I have to say that may apply to your situation in whatever situation you're in, whether you're in discovery, awareness, or you're leaving or you're out and you are now recovering. I know this is one of the hardest things that you probably have to do, and come to the realization that what you were experiencing never was a real relationship. You were really basically in a relationship with yourself. And so I have many requests for different videos, and so as I'm going through the list of different topics to discuss, I had someone send me one that I wanted to put to the top of the list because of the fact that it is summertime, and some of you are having to experience, some of you because of court documents and because of legal hearings or whatever the child custody hearings was. Summertime has now arrived and you're having to send the children to be with the narcissistic parent. Some of you and some of you are not the narcissistic parent, but some of them are not the narcissistic parent. You're actually receiving the kids from the narcissistic parents, meaning that the narcissistic parent had more time to manipulate the children. So by the time you get them, you have a short period of time to work with them. But let me address the visitations. So some of you are having to deal with the fact that you're having to hand the child over for the summertime to a narcissistic parent. So let's keep in mind what we're dealing with. A lot of you have watched the videos. If you have not, go back and watch the videos. A lot of the questions that you're asking are already answered on the videos. But now you can see some of the characteristics of narcissists, and so do understand that, no therapist or psychologist, and some people that come on make smart comments, so I just delete the comment. But so hopefully some of you have not seen it, but some people make smart comments about analyzing narcissists. First of all, it's not, it's kind of dumb to assume that a person that's on the other end of the camera can diagnose and analyze every single narcissist, because some of you guys are not dealing with a narcissist. You're dealing with just a toxic person that has narcissistic traits. They don't have the full-blown narcissistic personality disorder. And so some of you guys are just dealing with people that are just toxic, that are just got issues. And then there are some of you, and a lot of you, based on the conversations that you're having, are actually dealing with a narcissist for real. A person that has narcissistic personality disorder. You can actually pick out from the information you're receiving from videos, you can actually pick out, the different symptomologies that's been provided to you. You can pick out which ones they fall into. And though that most people are diagnosed in clinic, that's where the percentages come from in the DSM. And I believe, like some of the viewers believe, that I think it is a underestimation of how many narcissists are actually out there. And I have read somewhere where studies say that it's very rare. I don't agree with that. I think what it is underreported, because who's going to sit around and get analyzed or diagnosed with narcissism? Most narcissists don't even go to counseling. They fly under the radar. So I do believe the percentages are underreported, because the percentages that are reported in the DSM are those that have been clinically assessed in a clinic that have been diagnosed, clinically diagnosed. And so how many people are undiagnosed? How many people are undiagnosed with diseases? And so having said that, some of you are actually sending your kids, or having to, per court order, sending your kids to the narcissist. Keep in mind that the same thing that they did to you is the same thing they're doing to kids. That a kid is more vulnerable, though. The younger they are, the more vulnerable that they are. So yes, they love bomb. Yes, they trauma bond. Yes, they discard. Yes, they silent treatment, and they call that parenting. And they justify, what they're doing as parenting. And so a lot of courts, family courts, do not understand cluster B personality disorders. Now, I don't talk or teach on all of them because my experience was with one of them. And so with that experience and what I've seen, of course, I've seen different things within a clinical setting, but the one that stood out the most is the one that I experienced the most, that I studied for 20 some odd years, well, almost 50 some odd years, from family and friends and military, and then of course personal relationships. So my focus is the narcissist personality disorder. And so remember, they're doing the same thing to the kids. The thing about a child is a child is more vulnerable than an adult, because who's the absent parent? The absent parent is probably the narcissist that they're going to visit. You're there all the time. So what is it that they're missing? You're always there. And so what they crave is what is not there. And so what does the narcissist do? The narcissist are not, you have standards. You have standards, you have boundaries, there are certain rules in your home. So when they get over to the narcissist, the first thing they start doing, and for some of them, remember, each one is different depending on where you hurt. So each one of them plays the game, but they play the game depending on where is it going to hurt you. And so first thing you'll notice, sometimes what you'll notice is they'll begin to isolate the child. Isolate the child meaning that it becomes more difficult for you to get in contact with the child. And so if you confront them, because they want you to contact them. So it's almost like a Hoover, because they want you to talk to them. And so for you to say, hey, can you tell so-and-so to call me, or you tell my baby to call me, or now they won't respond, so now you have to pick up the phone. So you see how you're forced into communication, especially if you no contact. Now you're forced into communication, because now you have to pick up the phone and say, hey, can you tell, or hey, can I talk to my, or if your child has electronics, you'll find that it becomes a little difficult to get in contact with your child. So do know that they're isolating the kid. And just like in the military, whenever a civilian goes into the military, they enter into boot camp. When they get to boot camp, before they actually get into boot camp, they're in the reception area. And the reception area is where you get all your shots, you get your uniform handed to you, you're shown how to wear the uniform, you learn rank structure and how to call titles, you learn how to stand at attention, so you learn the positions of attention, you learn how to march, you learn how to eat, and so then after a few days of when the reception area where they're integrating you and giving you uniform and getting your paperwork and filling out your paperwork, your OMPF file with some of those are official military files and official military records, they're putting all your information in there. And your fingerprints, your blood, DNA, whatever, then you go to boot camp. When you get to boot camp, the whole purpose of boot camp is to transition your mind from a civilian into a team player and a military mind, teaching you standards, teaching you protocol, teaching you team, teaching you how the military thinks and acts. Even if people do not make it through boot camp or do not make it into advanced individual training, they still have that military training integrated. You can still tell the difference. When family and friends come after the graduation, they can tell the difference in their loved ones. Even when they get to permanent party after the training, a lot of times they get free and their personality comes back out. They get a little more relaxed, but there is military, even those of us that are veterans, there is a military presence in us that cannot be denied. You may not know whether we've been in the military or not, but there's something, you can tell with my hands, right? This is how we talk in the military. But there's a certain military presence with us that it cannot be denied, and other military people will pick it up, or other people will pick up like there's something different about you. Those people that do not understand order, that do not understand protocol, that sometimes parents do not teach your children discipline, those are the ones that have it the hardest in the military, and those are the ones that usually cannot get along with people that have been trained to have order. So if this is happening in the military, imagine what is happening when your children are going to the narcissist. They are retraining and reprogramming them. That's why it's called counter-parenting and co-parenting. And so you're trying to co-parent with this narcissist, and the narcissist parent is counter-parenting. Anything that you've taught your child, they're undoing it, and they don't, sometimes they don't, they may give them limits, they may tell them that it's a matter of power and control. Either whatever you taught them, they undo it, and this is what they're being taught here. What you're doing is now stupid. And then you'll hear them, a lot of times, they're very inappropriate in their conversations. They have inappropriate conversation with your children about child support, about what they do and what they give the mother or the father, about this doesn't make any sense. I can't believe that she doesn't wash clothes every day, or he doesn't wash clothes every day. You're supposed to wash clothes every day, and if you don't, that's nasty. You're supposed to wash clothes every day. Okay, what if that person is a busy person that can only wash clothes once a week? You got enough clothes to carry through the week, then you wash a big load at the end of the week. Or what if they can only do it 2 or 3 times, maybe once or twice during the week. If you have a large family, if you have a smaller family, you might be able to pass for every 2 or 3 days you wash clothes, because you have a lot of clothes. And so and these kids are innocent. They don't know. This is the missing parent. This is the person that they're gravitating to because they love this parent. This is the person that they don't see. So that parent becomes the hero. So they become that hero. Then they do things. What child doesn't like to do things? Now, realistically, that when the child comes back home to you, there's no state fairs and swimming parties and wild theme parks and, Disneyland and all that Bahama trips and everything. You know, when life settles back down, you're back in school, you're doing this, and this is the fun. So this is the memorable time for that child, is because now that parent is going to do everything that thou child. They don't say no. You can have whatever you want. You can travel wherever you want to go. We take you to the water parks. We'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. So what is imprinted in that child's mind? That when I leave this parent and come back to you, it's all boring. No, they're going back to reality. Now, this is the other thing that I have to say for some of you parents that are receiving the child back after that vacation. You have to remember that the child has been reprogrammed. You have to remember, and you can tell by the child's behavior. That's when go back and watch parental alienation. This is what they're doing. They're alienating the child. They're trying to pull the child out of your grip. And so what I'm telling you, some of you parents are not parenting your kids. Some of you are guilt parenting because of who you were attached to. The fact that the person was a narcissist, now you feel guilty and you feel overprotective for the child. But remember, narcissism is not just a traumatic event that has happened. Narcissistic personality disorder can develop in children when some of you say the golden child, or in this situation where they're being groomed. There is no, there are no boundaries, there are no rules, you don't discipline. And so some of you who are empaths on top of that are so emotional that you let your child have everything. The child cries or screams and has a temper tantrum, and so you give them but isn't that what so let me go back because I got excited. Isn't that what the narcissist is doing? Keep in mind that, narcissistic personality disorder normally is not diagnosed in a child until they're the age of 18. You can see symptoms, but a lot of time that is the part of the developmental process of a child growing up. They have narcissistic traits. Everything is mine, me, look, I don't want to share, but you can cultivate that, and that personality can develop into narcissistic personality disorder. They don't have empathy for other people. They don't have compassion for other people. It's all about them. There is no such thing as no, so they grow up in society assuming that when I want something, you give it to me, because there is no no. There is no respect. There is no discipline. And some of you that are empaths, you feel so bad about the fact that you were with a narcissist and what the narcissist has done that you overcompensate with the child. So you don't have any boundaries. They come back from the narcissistic parent, and these kids may be at home acting a fool, cutting up, crossing boundaries. You have to put your foot down, as well as you empaths. Now, everybody that's been involved with a narcissist is not an empath. I was not an empath, and I'm still not an empath. I have empathy, but I'm not an empath. But what you have to do is you have to put your foot down. There are rules. I don't care if they cry. I don't care. It's the same thing that the narcissist did. And so with your child, when they come home, you have to maintain your boundaries. You have to maintain respect. You have to maintain rules. There has to be consequences to actions. If you don't do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you lose these privileges. I don't care what you do. You're not going to tear up my stuff. You have to find a good way to discipline your children. Now, of course, I'm on camera, and so because of the fact that we have CPS involved, CPS or Child Protective Services tells you what you can and cannot do with your child. But yet, if you don't instill discipline, if you don't distill order, if you don't give boundaries, and you don't put responsibility on your children, teach them how to wash dishes, teach them how to wash clothes, teach them you don't do all that. You teach them responsibility. You are raising someone's husband or wife, and you have to teach them, because CPS can get involved, and I've seen too many cases they get involved and they make the situation even worse. And now you have a child, and in this society, you see what is happening with the police departments dealing with our minority children. And so you're teaching them how to go out into society and not respect rules, not respect authority. They can do whatever they want to. There is no such thing as no. And here we have the police disciplining your child, disciplining them in prison, disciplining them because of the fact that you did not instill discipline. And those of you that are ethnic, those of you that are Hispanic, African American, those of other cultures, this time and time that we're in, you really have to almost teach your children how to survive when they leave your home. And by you not instilling discipline and distilling respect in your children, you're making it where you can actually implement assisting them develop a dysfunctional personality disorder in them, and you're teaching them how not to respect. You're teaching them how to be a narcissist. That personality is developing, and especially if they have a parent that's a narcissist, that they learn by what they see. That's how empathy is developed. But they learn by what they see. It's not what you say, is what they see. In the military, it's always do as I say and not as I do. That's stupid. So I've heard people say that in the military. That's dumb. No, do as I do. You do as I say, but you also do as I do, because I'm going to be the example of what you need to be doing. And if I'm the example of what you need to be doing, and the results and the accolades, the results, or the benefits that come from being disciplined or being respectful, I teach my children yes ma'am and no sir. People who meet my children, they're going to get a yes ma'am or no sir. There is no such thing as first name basis. Everything has a miss or mister in front of it. I learned that. I learned that in the military, and I learned that respect will open up a lot of doors. And so I teach my children that when you respect people, yes sir, no ma'am. People are like, well, I'm not that old. Don't call me Mr. Nothing. Well, that is how I was trained. I do it. I even do it with the clients, Mr., Miss, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm going to put the title in front to give you respect. Dealing with the homeless, to go out, and when I talk to the homeless, I still say Mr., Miss, no sir, yes sir, no ma'am. If it's a child and they call me by my first name, I usually tell me and you are not the same age. I don't care if the parent is standing there or not. Me and you are not the same age. We did not graduate together. And so for mine, you call me Miss. You put Miss in front of me. Miss Carmen, Miss Bryant, Doctor, whatever. Don't you call me by my first name. I instilled that. So if the parents don't say that to their child, I let them know what the standard is, and they have respect for me even if they don't respect the parent. So parents, you have to instill respect. You know what they're going into. You know what they're dealing with. And so you literally are now working to unwind that child. And so you have to maintain your boundaries. You have to make sure you instill discipline. You cannot guilt parent. You cannot feel so bad, and some of it is going to be tiring, that you know what you've gotten involved with. You know that they're dealing with a narcissist. For some of you wondering, what do I do while the child is not there? Now, as I said in many of my videos, I am a believer. I'm a Christian. And sometimes, I'm not sometimes, but I do understand that everybody that's on this channel does not believe in God, does not believe in Jesus Christ, is not saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Spirit. I understand that. And so I deal with different cultures. I deal with different belief systems. Those of you that believe in prayer, this is the time that you pray and cover your children. This is the time where you ask for wisdom. This is the time where you go educate yourself. Go to the YWCA and ask them about the domestic violence programs, and ask them about, parents that are psychological. You don't have to say narcissists, because some of them don't really understand narcissism, but psychological abusive parents. How do you parent a child, or what do you do when you're dealing with a psychologically abusive parent? They have programs and teaching and education. You go look on YouTube, you can find a lot of information. This is where you educate yourself. Family law has not really a lot of them have not integrated, dealing with toxic or high intensity, what is it called, high conflict divorces. Some of them are not well versed in narcissism, cluster B personality disorders, how it plays out, the manipulation. Some lawyers do not want to deal with that. Some of them do not want to deal with that. They just import the law and let's keep going, because the narcissist is going to manipulate the lawyer too. So they're attacking you, and they're attacking your defense team, the people that you've hired to defend you and the kids. So not only are they attacking you, the lawyer knows that they're attacking them and their reputation as well. And so they're smearing your name, they're smearing the agency's name. Who wants to lose business? You know what I mean? Who wants to lose business? And so this is my advice to you. First of all, understand what you're sending them to. Prepare yourself mentally. Those of you that are empaths and don't know how to maintain your boundaries, you're not helping the child by not imposing discipline, boundaries, making sure when they get back, and while they're gone, you do what you're supposed to do. Text them, Of course, you guys are no contact. So you already know that they're going to hoover you through your kids. They're going to force your hand to contact them, and break your contact to contact them. Remember, even with having a parent with a narcissist, there is a point where you can't go totally no contact. There comes a time and they will force your hand to make you talk to them. They'll do things like talk through your kids to you. And it's inappropriate. Like, this is not a conversation that you and I should be having. This is a conversation that me and your mother or me and your father should be having. And so what you're going to have to do is be bold enough to pick up the phone and say, hey, I need you to talk to me and not to them. And that's all they've been waiting for, so they can start off. you have to stay focused. If you're talking about apples, stay focused on the apples. Hey, can you ask my baby to call me? I didn't ask you all that. All I asked you is, so you already know, as soon as you stay in line, they're going to try to torment you and hurt you through your children. That's what they're going to do. And so what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to stay focused, and you have to build up your strength, because as you build up your strength and you maintain your boundaries, they can do whatever they want to. I just want to talk to the baby. I'm not really concerned with all that, or don't even get into it. Hey, can I talk to the baby? Well, yeah, and they're doing this and they don't have time, or some of them like, yeah, sure, but they want to have a conversation with you. Don't let them pull you in a personal conversation. Don't let them pull you in personal questions. That is not what you're calling for. You ask your baby to call you, they don't respond. You know what's going to happen. Some of you already know. Now, while they're gone on vacation, and to each one of you that have different beliefs, you have to go and you have to follow what belief you have. Whatever your spiritual belief is on how to cover your children, how to pray for your children, whatever it is that you use is what you're going to have to use. For those of you that are believers, this is a time where you pray and fast and you cover your babies, you cover your children, you ask God for wisdom. For those of you that are not in the Christian belief, you have to use whatever it is that you use to help you to maintain your calm and have some type of confidence and to protect your children, whatever it is that you use, and then during this time, educate yourself, ask questions, get yourself educated, but also spend time with yourself. Find time to, take this time. Don't sit around worrying all the time. You sit around worrying all the time, you can't enjoy your peace and quiet. Go find something to do. This is the time where you find out, what are your talents? What are your giftings? Where do I like to go? Where do I like to watch movies? Do I like to go out to eat? Do I like staring at trees? What do you like to do? And in the last video, do you like licking trees? Go lick a tree, So whatever it is, go find yourself something to do, because some of you have a hard time with your kids anyway. Is really giving you a break, but at the same time, you're worried. You already know what you have to deal with, and this is your time to rebuild yourself, to prepare for what you're going to get back. I tell you guys, find a counselor that understands psychological abuse or domestic violence. Some of them do not understand narcissist abuse. So use the term psychological abuse. Do you understand psychological abuse? Do you understand, the effects of psychological abuse? And when they come back, you and the child get into counseling, and let the therapist know. There's a lot of psychological abuse that's going on. You have to be careful how you present it too, but there's a lot of psychological abuse going on with the mother or the father, during the visitations. When I go, they usually come back and their whole demeanor, their attitude has changed. And so I just need, the counseling. So that's getting you into counseling, but it's also keeping records. So if you ever need to use those records, you can use those records in a court setting if they allow it. And so hopefully this has answered your question. Hopefully this was in depth enough for those of you that are now preparing to send your children with the narcissistic parent. Hopefully that answered the question. And thank you guys so much for tuning in and supporting me in all that I do. If you have not purchased my book is Unmasking the Illusion of Perfection. You can find it on Barnes & Noble. You can find it on Amazon. You can purchase it through Kindle or ebook on Barnes & Noble. Please order the book. Share these videos. Share the book. The book is basically, we can talk about narcissism all day long, but the book actually plays it out to let you see what it looks like and gives you some encouragement. It is a Christian book, so those of you that are not Christian, just take the principles out of it, because I guarantee you'll find yourself somewhere in that book. You're like, that is exactly what happened to me. And these are true stories. These are real people in there with their stories. And so please take the opportunity to purchase it, share it, give it to a gift, give it to a teenager. Give it to a teenager, let the teenager read it so they have more information on what things look. Teenagers are smarter than you think they are. Give it to your teens, 13 years old, 12 years old, and let them read this. It's unfortunate that they have a parent that is narcissistic, but they're learning a lot about sex in school, and it's not a book that has sex in it, but what I'm saying, they're learning a lot about sex with their friends and stuff like that. So don't be surprised at how much they really know. Give them opportunity to read it, so when they see it played out, it's already imprinted in their mind from the book that they've read. Don't force them to read it, of course, and if you have not already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is Dr. Carmen Bryant, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Hit the bell. I pre-record Tuesday through Friday. Sometimes I am busy in my office because I have clientele and I have paperwork to do, and so I apologize. Sometimes I'm not able to come on, but I'm I'm pretty consistent with Tuesday through Friday pre-recording videos, and Sundays I come on live between 8 and 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, which is the West Coast time for the U.S. Please join me and come ask me whatever question you want to ask. Just don't ask me my weight, and then me and you guys will be friends. So, but I also have a Facebook page, which is Overcoming Narcissist Abuse, and my professional page, Psychological Health Consultants and Services. I do, hit the thumbs up, the like button. I do post videos on there. Sometimes I put a little something just to keep you guys going for the week. I do have a Twitter account. I'm trying to be all technically savvy. The kids, the young people are helping me. So my Twitter, I think, is at hashtag Dr. Carmen Bryant 1. You're welcome to join me. I do post the videos, and then sometimes I do give little words of encouragement. I'm working on it. I'm trying. And an Instagram account, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. I'm kind of cool. I'm trying to be cool and hip and young, so you guys have to work with me. Give me some time. Let me get it together. But thank you guys. Really, I truly appreciate everything that you guys do, your support, your comments, your emails, to let me know that the greatest gratification that I have is knowing that these are helping you, as some of you are actually beginning to recover and smile and laugh again. If I can make you laugh, you have hope. So as I always say, you guys go and be great.